I've been the last 2 weeks. I've been having a lot of bad luck with my mulligans, so it's always cool to see when matches are played at the full potential. When you've got two people keeping sevens, which is what it's looking like right now. They've both just kept. It's a mana leak in the ponder, from what it looks like, and a Noah Bradley Island.
Correct.
Windswept Teeth. If he's fetching now, he might be getting a Tundra to cantrip as well.
There is another judge call for whatever. Maybe they're debating about if they use the pet exclusively or if they also should write down.
You might be.
Hello, Lionel. Welcome.
How? What makes you? Are you much further ahead than me, or
Why?
is there a judge call going on? I don't see it.
He was calling the judge. I was just noticing. But
Okay. I've
yeah.
reloaded. Maybe I was behind. But they don't seem to be doing one, do they?
Yeah, that's correct. I think it's just about using the live pet.
Okay, so we've got Ponder versus Ponder being
Yeah,
played.
very interesting first round
Yep.
or first turn. And
Fish
for
Ponder versus World Ponder.
for anyone who is not familiar with Ponder, here it is.
What are you doing playing our format? Not being familiar with Ponder.
Well, if you're not into blue magic, yeah, at least you might have played against it.
Oh,
And there's a fetch, and
Fetch
yeah,
always goes quickly, and
it's reasonable to do that since Tail's End is a card, followed by a Baleful Strix.
we have a fetch and a go.
That's a cool one.
That is true, but I agree. But I think the World Ponder is more iconic.
And I also think you have to think about if the artwork matches the old frame. I would not agree on this fishy fish theme.
Yeah, the Lorwyn art style is quite particular,
quite unique, and I think the other one fits better. So the question is, do we see a Strix beatdown? There is Effect of Fiction and of turn, I guess, which is countered by a loose focus. And it looks like the players are quite fast, which is good.
So this is
good for us, all of us, the viewers, and the guys who cast. There's a Nazet. It's not really endangered by the bird. Woo! And there's a force with
but it's definitely a clock.
And there's a mana leak. And probably the Aminatou play has something up as well. Yeah, and there's a memory lapse. So a classic counterfight here. He was
take decision to force before memory lapsing. Because I mean, if the opponent doesn't choose to counter or fight over the Narset, or can't fight over the Narset and has just been bluffing,
correct,
then you've
wasted a card.
Yeah, wasted a card.
Yep.
I mean, it's I think it's fine to assume that you will force at some point in the match, but I'm not sure if that's. But then again, it's always good to remember that this isn't the ZAP Master. This isn't a two-day event. They've been playing all day, and yeah, you never quite know how much mental distress has been going on.
Absolutely. And it looks like the Venser player is missing his land drop. Probably. I'm not sure about that yet.
Yeah.
But this match is definitely decided by mana advantage. At least in the earlier turns.
Yep. But we've also got a not 100%, but we've sort of got a card advantage engine going on the Aminatou side.
That's correct. There is a
Handling planeswalkers is always going to be difficult for mono blue.
There's a swords.
We've got a swords on the spell seeker in response to the trigger. Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Let's see what the blue player is looking for. Maybe it's just a cantrip in order to find another land. Could be the case.
I mean, old boy, something you always have to consider is that the Aminatou deck currently doesn't have a clock in play, and it's very difficult for that deck to get a clock in play. Therefore, I mean, the clock is 17 turns currently, but you know, at any time there can be a blocker put in place, or something can happen to the Strix or something like that. So it's always I can never, unless you have literal lethal or planeswalkers generating a whole lot of card advantage on board with Aminatou, it's always difficult to say, okay, this is the nail in the coffin. This game is over.
Absolutely. Especially because Venser can create some huge tempo swings in 1 or 2 turns. And oh, is this, how's the card called? Quiet Speculation? No. Is it the card that
This is a
searches?
chain of vapor that he's just searched up as a chain of vapor.
Could be the case, yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh,
well, it doesn't really have to get rid of Aminatou. I mean,
yeah. The thing is, old boy, is that Aminatou doesn't do anything except generate card advantage. So
with a second card on board, that's why Aminatou is so much debated in the community overall. Like, people, there is quite speculation, by the way, so he has it as well.
Yep.
Like, in
It's
order
cards
for
flashback in the graveyard, or what is it?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's doing. So in order for Aminatou to be useful on the battlefield, I mean, you can tick her up 3 turns until you can use the ultimate, but apart from that, you are just exchanging.
The ultimate doesn't do anything either. You just switch permanents with the opponent. And if you're playing against mono blue, there's usually not much in play for them.
In this particular match, that's right. Yeah.
Yep.
But the minus ability is dependent on a second card on the battlefield, and yeah, the plus ability is just exchanging cards. And the Venser player, we already saw Narzet, which denies the plus ability, and maybe he's also running Hullbreacher, I don't know. Some Venserists are running the wheels, like the bad wheels actually, but maybe if he's playing Quiet Speculation, he might also play Echo of Aeons.
Yep. So that was an interesting line of play, mana leaking something that can be paid.
How did he get the Mana Leak back?
He's never cast it.
He did.
Pardon? When did he cast it?
I think he played it when there was this battle with Force of Will going on. Because the opponent was playing the Force, and he was playing the Mana Leak, and then the Mana Leak got memory lapse. There we go.
Oh, the Mana Leak got memory lapse. Yep.
Correct. Hey, Denova, welcome.
So now we actually see a bit of a clock.
Yeah, correct. With the creeping
tar pit. The creeping tar pit can definitely actually. It's a 4-turn clock.
Followed up by a Wall of Omens.
Yep. We've got a.
That's an exhaustion, I think.
Yep.
An older version.
Portal version of exhaustion.
Yeah, correct. It's a cool artwork.
Yep, that's the one Martin has.
Right. Full mana. Aye. He has it all. And there's a stasis. No, that's interesting.
Yeah, so what we can see happen here, which doesn't line up too well against the force that the Aminatou player has in hand. So he might flash in Venser to bounce the stasis and get a full untap. So we'll see how that goes. Correct. Notably though, if he ever like if he doesn't do it this turn, then the stasis might then he has to tap 1 mana for the stasis and the upkeep, and if he doesn't have a land drop, then he doesn't have another chance to do it. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, he's tapped.
There is a preordain.
Oh, he's hellbent from what it looks like.
Yeah, he is. Continuing to dropping some lands.
Interesting. So looks like we're just going to be seeing planeswalkers doing things on the Aminatou side.
I'm just wondering, is there a reason why you would not attack with the streaks?
It might just be that he doesn't think the damage matters. It might be that he's trying to that he wants to save his Aminatou activations for something else. Okay, now, yeah, that's absolutely.
Well, he flickered the streaks. He flickered the streaks.
He missed a point of damage there.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's definitely.
And here again, that's not necessary. Since the opponent is playing lands only.
Permanently out of activating or letting the stasis, doing the Venser trick with stasis. So he's just gonna let it go at some point. And
quite interesting, this decision. There's a toxic in graveyard.
He's gone to discard. So he still has a force and a balance in hand, the Aminatou player. What's the card that's on top? It looks like an evasive action.
Could be, and he continues to drop lands. So he's currently at 6
Which he doesn't even
lands.
really like. It's good that he's doing it, but it's not even necessary from this kind of game.
The Aminatou player keeps missing spells. What is he trying to do? Probably waiting for an Emrakul. I don't know if he plays one. Under those circumstances, the Strix could really be a clock in combination with Aminatou. He missed a few points of damage already.
Yes, but he also knows that at some point it's over, right? Currently, the stasis player has 2, maybe 3 turns left stasising. If he starts now, that's 2 damage he's doing with the Strix because he's got to uptick Aminatou once, and yeah.
So
here we
there,
see a big Tef.
yeah, there a Teferi.
And
It's quite good
uh,
with a
big
stasis.
Tef breaks the stasis absolutely, so this might be. But he's still deciding not to cast it.
Ah, interesting.
Interesting. I would have gone for it there.
Yeah.
Because if Big Tiff gets countered, what does that even matter? You have a force. Is there anything that the Tiff player can do that will really get him out of this? I don't really think so.
Me neither. So there's a mental missteps. He's gone down to 14. Now he has a bunch of interaction in hand. There is another misstep. Misstep the misstep.
He's taken 1 damage too much off that misstep. Let's see if he corrects it.
There is a Wish Claw talisman. So, we can only imagine what the Aminatou player is going to do with that one.
Yep.
That could lead to an early game-ending tutor.
Does he have enough to do it
Oof.
right now in terms of mana? He has 1, 2,
2,
3
4.
to activate,
Yes, he does.
4 to activate.
Yeah. I think he does.
Can he do it with counter magic open?
Well, he still has the force.
He has a force, and I think he can likely keep 1 piece of counter magic open as well. So.
Yep.
So we see the activation coming through.
I assume he's playing a combo to finish the game here. Not quite sure, but maybe he's also just searching for value. I wouldn't do that.
So a notable thing about Wishclaw Talisman is that its ability isn't sorcery speed. It's just only during your turn.
In your turn, yes.
Therefore, you can activate Aminatou's ability, and with it on the stack, activate the Wishclaw Talisman. Which doesn't make too much of a difference, but yeah.
There's a Jace. So there could be a Tainted Pact as well.
Huh? That seems a little more risky.
There is a Tainted Pact. So I will get the Jace here, since I assume everyone knows what Tainted Pact does. It definitely is risky, and there is a Boomerang. There's a Drown, and he has the Force backup, so no way of getting out of it. It looks so cozy. It's really, really cool.
I mean, the old venue was fine too.
Yeah, but you only know the venue for the 250 guys, 250 player
that's
tournaments.
The one
that one is great, and it's still used for the bigger the bigger ones, I guess. But the smaller one wasn't that nice, in my opinion.
A mulligan on both sides, it looks like.
So we have 4 cards, and
they both put a card under their library, so
yeah, could be the case. We have a Serum Vision here, and there is a Misty Rainforest on the other side. There's a Tundra, and he's also a bit scared about fetching, since I could imagine the Venser deck plays Stifle. I'm not too sure about that, but at least it might play Tail's End. Like it could play Stifle because of the I don't know if it plays Stifle because of the Parallax Tide trigger stifling stuff like this.
Yep. In the dark, I think it's always good to play that.
Yeah.
To play if you can to play around.
Yeah, correct.
Stifle. So we see
a Dam, a Loose Focus, Mana Type, the CMC4 enchantment that drops an Angel, I guess, on ETB.
Force of Negation.
Force of Negation, and the last card could be. Oh, the last card is difficult.
Not sure what that is.
Rest in
however,
peace?
That is.
Or is it the MDFC? Not sure about it. I thought it was a path. MDFC.
Yes.
Modal double face card. I thought it was. Not a Path to Exile. Wait.
I don't think it is a Rest in Peace. I'm looking at the artworks. It's not Pieces. Pieces spelled with an A.
Yeah. I thought it was this one, but it is not. It's not this Rest in Peace artwork, right?
I don't think so, no.
And there's a Merchant Scroll on the other side. Interesting.
Yep.
That's cool. Even the beautiful new promo, or not so new anymore, but the newest card. And it finds a Memory Deluge, correct? We had that card earlier.
Oh, yeah.
When we were casting the 6th round.
It is definitely a good card to get in a control matchup.
Absolutely.
You do have the sort of issue in quotation marks that the opponent has a Mana Tithe in hand, so you have to bait the Mana Tithe before you get to try to cast the Memory Deluge.
Yeah. I think it's a brilliant card. Hey, Kyuki! Welcome! I'm not so sure. I mean, the Venser deck definitely needs to make sure he has some card advantage engine going on in order to take control of the game earlier or later. It seems that the opponent is attacking with a Strix, and now there's Aminatou, which is force spiked.
Definitely good.
Fair enough. I really like the Deluge. So I don't know what this guy is thinking about. I mean, it's his turn. He can't cast a Force of Negation. If he was thinking about that, probably not.
I mean, both players are aware, so...
So, Memory Deluge is quite a good card. I mean...
It's definitely the best of
the CMC4, yeah.
Maybe Fact or Fiction beats it still. I think it probably does.
I'm not too sure about that. Sometimes in terms of card advantage it might, but you give your opponent the choice, at least to sort out some piles.
Yep. When memory deluge, you just do.
And you just get to choose whatever you like. I mean, in the end, you still get to choose whatever you like from the piles your opponent is setting up for you. On the other hand, I mean, this card has it's a dig through time in late game, cast for 7, right?
Yep.
So.
And being instant speed also just kind of.
Correct.
Gives you enough
It has some upsides, I'd say. I mean, the fact of fiction is obviously good in decks that interact with the graveyard in some way. For example, if we would talk about Octavia, I would definitely prefer playing Fact of Fiction over Memory Deluge, but I think also for that deck, yeah, I might just play both of them because they're both fine.
Absolutely.
Kuki, why do you think that's the case?
I mean, the fact that you can often have 3-card piles is obviously good with Fact or Fiction, but you are definitely you're going to most opponents are going to be able to assess the game state and your opponent.
That's correct, but you were arguing in favor of Fact or Fiction. Am I right?
Well, I mean, if either spell gets countered, it's countered.
Yeah, but what
No
Kuki means
points
is
to
that at least the Memory Deluge, unless it's exiled, it can do something later on. Compared to Fact or Fiction.
That's true.
Which is a nice argument for sure. It costs 7, of course. It's quite expensive, but still, such games tend to last way longer.
But that's what we're saying is that it's not necessarily like the piles looking at 5 cards and having your opponent choose, and looking at 4 cards and having your self.
Can we get an information on this
I think
enchantment?
might even out. I don't know what it's called.
I think it's CMC4.
I guess
And
I can. Sure, I can have a look through.
Yes.
Black, white.
I think it's CMC4 and it produces an angel on some point. And Venser is actually. He stole the angel by casting Treachery.
There we go.
Furious Retribution, they say.
Yep.
There's a dam.
So it's a land, that spell.
Yep. So here we have the dam, but much more interesting is the Retribution. So
Does anyone know what the land that has entered the battlefield tapped this turn is?
It's not an Amaria's Call. Is it?
I don't believe so.
I mean, it could be. Is that close? I don't think so. right? There are some columns, and this one shows
no,
something
no,
different. Yeah,
there's
so it's
two
not the
major columns in the middle of that.
yeah, exactly. It's not the skyclave. So the dam got memory lapse. It's back on top. There is a mana type in hand, and there is still the Force of Negation and a loose focus. So it looks like the Aminatou player is well set up against any shenanigans coming from the blue player. But keep in mind, you always have another counter in your command zone with Venser.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure he's not going to sacrifice the Angel to the Baleful Strix. So there's a signed card in his hand. I can't figure out what that is.
That's a miscalculation.
Is it? Okay.
I believe.
I'm not too sure about that, but he's passing the turn. That's interesting. So let's see what's the third mode on the card. Angels you control gain double strike. Pretty irrelevant.
We see it cast again.
Ooh.
It does definitely look like a...
Now he's going to cast a double loose focus with Replicate. By the way, a great counterspell. I really love it.
Venser should bounce the Treachery here. We'll see what happens when it comes on the battlefield.
You're right, it was a miscalculation. Wait, did he only pay one blue?
Pardon?
Did he only play one blue?
Nope,
No.
he paid...
He paid two, so with a Replicate, right? And that's a turnabout? Yep. And there's a Memory Deluge. That's great. That's great.
Definitely interesting.
Absolutely. So he's looking at the top 7, and he probably still has a mana to choose, like a land to play. I don't know if that's what he's looking for, or maybe he's searching for more cards that generate some card advantage. Would totally make sense. There is an extra planar lens. So now all islands produce an extra mana of the color.
I have discovered what the card that's the land on the battlefield is. There we go.
Holy. So I think the reason is because you can flicker the land and then it comes back as a creature, right? Yep.
Yep.
That's
doesn't seem like a very good thing to be doing in Aminatou.
I don't know.
Put a 1/3 on the battlefield.
I mean, you have like 2 more life and another blocker against aggressive matchups. It's not the first time I see that card, at least. I think it's okay. What was going on here? We have a time spiral. We have a Venser. Whew. That can be interesting.
So Venser should have 1 blue mana floating from paying the mana tithe. which is free for the Aminatou player to do, right? Might have been better to keep the 1 mana open for potential cards that come along, but I think it's fine. Maybe you want to cycle a Sensor or something like that.
Yep.
I mean, if he bounced the Time Spiral, he wouldn't have had enough mana to recast the Time Spiral that turn, QQ.
But he has double mana.
And if the Time Spiral, yeah,
but
he
Venser
paid
costs Venser.
6 to a Venser,
Yeah, correct.
and 6 for the Time Spiral, so so I think what he did was fine.
So he goes for Merchant Scroll currently.
Average price of the decks that they're playing now. So the deck on the right side, the Venser deck, I would guess probably costs about 600 to 700 euros to put together.
Dimitrish.
And on the left side,
if
it's a lot
you
more expensive.
if you disregard the fact that this guy is playing all the max pimp,
the left side, I would be guessing you're paying around 1.5K for if you get the cheapest versions of all the cards because you need the dual lands.
So according to Moxfield, the Venser deck costs around 1,300 euros, and he hasn't entered any foil cards or anything.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, it plays cards like Time Spiral, and Emrakul is like 40 bucks. There's Eugen, there's Jace. There are a few cards.
Yeah, so I
Force of Will,
added those in my
Intuition.
head. Yeah, I put like Time Spiral, Intuition as the most expensive cards, and then you have Force and Jace that are expensive too.
So let's stick to the game again. There was an Intuition casted.
Countered by a Force of Will, pitching
Exactly.
out. So here we will likely see an Aminatou cast and a Venser to bouncer.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. No, just resolves.
At least there we see an attempt here.
There's a consideration.
There's a huge laughter in the background.
Don't have the sound on.
So there is a fetch that could be a Mystic Sanctuary. Yep, it is. Quite obvious here, I guess. So let's see what's coming up next. The Jace is on the battlefield. Oh, wait. What was happening here? So he fetched, put the Force of Will on top, and passed with 5 mana.
And now
he didn't attack because of the wall. That's fine.
Yep. And now Jace is being put on the stack and it's being remanded.
Yeah, and the opponent is fetching, so probably he has something to interact.
Yeah, looks like a UC probably coming onto the battlefield. Oh, that's mana efficient answer, a snare for the remand.
Correct.
So
let's see if the opponent has anything.
So we might see a force to just counter the Jace.
Ah, there is a flash of insight that gets the force. Yes, that's good.
I'm confused. What's just happened?
I don't know either.
I believe. Yeah, he means to target the. Yep.
The Jace instead of the spell snare. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
So
completely fine.
It might have been more apt to force first.
What is that? Is that a pull from tomorrow?
That's a Riptide to Laboratory.
Yeah.
And then a pull from tomorrow.
I really love the Riptide Laboratory.
Definitely a cool card.
Yeah, it's just awesome. Fits so well into Venser.
Notably, this is a sorcery speed pull.
And he has the force of negation.
Did we see what he pitched?
It was a Texium probe. Or you mean for the force of will, or
for the pull?
For the pull, what he discarded, I don't know anymore. Quiet Speculation was discarded. Okay, thanks for the info.
I mean, there are definitely better versions of Riptide Venser, but Caracas is banned in Duel Commander.
Yep.
What is this 1 mana spell?
Hard Evidence. Produces a crab and a clue. That's a great card.
It's a very Time Spiral-esque artwork, I think.
That's correct.
This is an artwork that looks like it's straight out of Time Spiral. Kind of Flagstones of Trokia vibes.
And the little crab is so cute.
Yeah.
Sitting around there, completely innocent. But if you compare it to the token on the battlefield, looks much more scary.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like that both of them have quite some experience piloting their piles. I mean, as Kinky said in the beginning, this match is going to be horrible if players are taking longer times to decide what to play.
Yep.
And there's an Aminatou again.
Like it's likely going to resolve this time.
That could be the case, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if the Ascanta gets activated straight away.
And so there is a Flash of Insight, Flashback, exiling 4 blue cards. And the Aminatou player flickered the wall.
He's doing that. That's interesting. To do that before the Ascanta gets to flip. Not sure if I would have done that, but we'll see.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, we don't know his hand currently, so.
Absolutely.
Or he's probably also searching for a land here. And there's a Liliana. Takes up to 4, discarding a card. I don't know if I like that. On the other hand, like the Aminatou player has already decided to flicker the wall.
It's definitely difficult to. I'm not sure if I like that either, because Liliana getting to her ultimate is very difficult with a Venser on board.
Completely agree.
So
if I have noticed correctly, the Aminatou player has no cards in hand, and now there's 3 mana plus 4, 3 from the Riptide activation, and 4.
Yes. So I believe this Venser, this just gets bounced. This TIF.
Yeah, correct.
Which makes it. But as soon as it's bounced, the Venser player loses his last card in hand.
Correct.
And the Aminatou player can. Well, no, actually, the Aminatou player can draw a card and then plus Lily in order to not have to pitch TIF.
By the way, old boy, although he's playing a foil treachery, I haven't noticed that he does. I could imagine. Moxfield is showing the prices of non-foil cards, so that shouldn't.
I'm not sure if that comment was in relation to.
In relation to the deck price of $1,300, maybe not. I thought it was. Okay, yeah. Yeah, foil treachery is expensive, that's correct. So there is an intuition cast.
Interesting. So yeah, this is also a clean solution. Just get 3 counter spells with intuition. Which also lets him sack the clue end of turn.
Let's just show the Ascanter here for once.
Foil Grimolith has always been expensive. It's very expensive now, but yeah, absolutely.
And there is a Cryptic Command, a counterspell, and something else.
Maybe a Tail's End?
It's an older card. No, that's the intuition. It's a Tail's End, you're right. Yeah, it's a Tail's End, Cryptic, counterspell, and the intuition.
Tail's End at the bottom there.
He just corrected the order, the graveyard order, which is fine. So end of turn he has a. Okay, he had a double sacrifice on Lily with an Aminatou flicker. Yeah, I think I'm not sure on the long run, the card selection from Search for Ascanta might be more valuable. That's not necessarily right.
More valuable than what? I think you should always be flipping.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But on the other hand, like with the current board state, they both need to, or at least especially the Venser player needs to play efficient Magic in order to get control over the situation, and the Surge activation is quite expensive with 4 mana. On the other hand, it might enable some game-changing lines.
We got a judge call the way that both players are sitting right now.
Yeah, one is taking a pause to have a drink, have a Kit Kat. I don't know.
So I think it looks pretty unlikely that the that we're gonna end up seeing the finals being played, from just as a personal opinion, because uh, it's 9 o'clock and this isn't quite finished yet. But
Yeah,
if it's a quick and one of the we'll have Aminatou and Venser, but we'll see.
we will see exactly. Even if they decide not to play to go any further, we've had a nice match here to cast.
Definitely. Both players have played very well and very clean.
Yep, correct. Yeah, it's a bit of a stally situation right now. There's one card in hand for the Aminatou player right now.
We saw the Aminatou sacrificed an exclamation marks to downtick to
I guess so, yes.
yeah. And Lily hasn't. Did Lily get plussed?
It was
There's a card in hand, so I'm
it was
guessing he
bounced
liked.
once and then
Well, no, it was at one last turn.
yeah, and he bounced it again to sacrifice. Wasn't it? No, no, that doesn't make any sense. There was no creature on the battlefield. So maybe he. But why is Aminatou gone then?
He sacked twice. He killed Venser and the crab
Yeah, yeah, last turn. But
last turn.
now he
This
might
turn,
have sacrificed
I think
Aminatou to flicker the wall.
exactly that's what I think happened because he played a land and now he has one card in hand.
So
So
there
he's
is a
gone through this.
Snapcaster Mage.
Powerful card.
That can enable quite some card advantage in combination with the laboratory. Let's see where this is going. He decides to target the cryptic command with flashback. In response to the target, the opponent is casting a Kaya's Guile.
So this is definitely interesting. Um, right,
Why?
he doesn't have an.
That's nice.
It's definitely strong. If he doesn't have a counter spell here, he can bounce the Snapcaster with a Riptide, but then he still has an empty graveyard. So,
Yep.
ooh, what is he doing? He's gaining life and exiling the graveyard.
Okay, I would have not done that. I think I would have. Maybe he thinks, okay, he can bounce the creature anyway, so I don't need to sacrifice it and just take the life instead. Like
True, but
Lily dies no matter what I'm going to do.
I mean, I guess what do you mean Lily dies?
No, it does not because. So who's going to?
What's going on here?
I don't know either. They don't want to play anymore.
Because it's
But
a dragon card. Oh, no, 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 not
no,
Pathfire.
that's not a tribal spell.
Not Pathfire. It's a tribal spell, not a shapeshifter spell. I mean, well, because you're a five color deck, you can play Hand Disruption. The deck has quite a lot of counterspell that it can play as well. I was playing Dispel and Pact of Negation and Force of Will and Remand and Force Spike. So there's a lot of counter magic that you can, a lot that you can do to set up um, your win in your hand. Um,
So we're starting with a Bayou and an Inquisition of Kozilek.
So the deck could also play as the 5th dragon card. Could play Nameless Inversion or Crib Swap.
Alright, Nameless Inversion,
would be my two.
Yeah.
Would be my 2 picks for.
By the way, Aminatou is down to 6, and he has kept a swamp with a reflecting pool. So, and there is a Jutexing probe.
So, I would guess if he goes for the probe here with the Inquisition, since it's he goes for the balance. Okay.
Okay. I think I would have kept the probe here, maybe.
Or depending on how important black mana is for him, he could have gone for the spreading seas too.
That's correct as well. But I think having an island isn't too bad if your aim is to cast Dreamholds.
Yep. So, namely, the deck that I was playing didn't play any green at all. I managed to just cut green.
So he played the pool on turn 1. Yikes. Interesting. Doesn't do anything here. There's a Tundra, and now there's the probe.
So we'll get to see what's going on.
And they screwed the settings. So, yeah, a lot of players here. 2-player mode. Aha. Solve the struggle with the tablet.
Okay, like
so now we get to see his hand. There is a prop decay. Brainstorm, Thoughtseize, Miscalc, and a Reflecting Pool?
Yep. Okay, so this looks quite different from the deck that I was playing. It's a lot more interaction.
Yeah, right. So the question is...
If he is playing a combo, which I would hope he is, I don't see why you'd play a 7-mana commander without playing a combo. Yeah, I guess we've got a miscalc on the Breeding Seas. Okay. Or do we not?
I don't know why they're waiting, what they're waiting for. Yeah, me does agree. I agree. It's quite bad.
Oh, we see it. It targets the cuts off white.
White. Yeah, interesting. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So he has. There is a Flutter Strand. Interesting. And he's not going to play the Thoughtseize. Maybe he will follow up with that later on.
Flutter Strand was actually a very lucky draw, since it lets him actually do something with this brainstorm. It's always kind of when you play a combo deck, it's always kind of playing it on the edge when you decide to keep a hand that doesn't have any way to combo.
So there's a Savines, and it will get back.
This is interesting.
Fetch land, and the opponent just lets everything resolve. I'm not too sure about that decision.
Yeah, it's always when you have when you have no spells to protect in a game like this, it's always difficult to decide when you want to be countering spells, and that's why 2-mana counter spells are 2-mana counter spells are always difficult to decide which ones you want in a combo deck. Assuming this is a combo deck, it's not making any indication of being so far, but we'll see.
Not yet. We will see.
Maybe he's actually an easy card deck and just didn't get an easy card in time, so he's playing a commander that doesn't do anything.
No, I wouldn't think.
I think it's
so.
unlikely to
Yeah.
make it to the finals of a 115-man tournament that way, but
So now he
we'll see.
got himself a triome, and he has a reflecting pool in hand still. So
He's drawn a Dark Shores, which it looks like he's going to be playing tapped. Yep.
and he's still not casting the Thoughtseize. Interesting.
I mean, it does make sense to not cast the Thoughtseize, to wait till you're going off.
Yeah.
Playing an Aminatou? Yep. Around the miscalc.
So cutting him off of red.
There's nothing he can do to respond to that, so.
Let's see. There is going to be a water grave. And now it looks like why is he not casting the abrupt decay in end of turn?
That's a good question.
I mean, he's not able to counter it anyways. The Aminatou player has Force of Will and Force of Negation in hand, which makes it quite hard.
And a Mana Leak.
And a Mana Leak, yeah. Which makes it quite hard to interact.
Absolutely.
So we still don't really know. Do we have any more information apart from the Thoughtseize and the miscalculation? I don't think so, right? The Prepticate is played.
I think everything else has been played, and we don't know if the Thoughtseize is still in hand or what's still in hand.
Yeah, correct. There's an Urborg. So the only color he's missing is red.
Yeah, so Aminatou hasn't missed a land drop yet, which is... Oh, wait, no, he tried to play 2 lands this turn, so... he played the Adaka Waste.
Cycling the miscalculation.
Miscalc, that's fine.
So he might...
I'm thoroughly confused as to what's going on, since the Tiamat... Like, resolving Tiamat without the combo in play just makes the 7/7 that draws cards.
Yep. But as you've already mentioned, maybe that's a completely different list.
That might actually be the case.
Compared to what we are expecting.
So we see a Tail's End, which means the Mana Leak is still in hand. It's putting me off right now because I don't see any reason to, if he is the combo deck, to ever cast the Tiamat, because it means that he needs 2 additional mana to go off with the Dream Halls in play.
Correct.
Ooh, this is the kind of card you lose to as a control deck, or as the from what it looks like, what the guy is playing.
Yeah.
So
Could be the case. But on the other hand, there could be a turnaround. How many cards does the Aminatou player has in hand?
looks like 6.
Yeah, a bunch of cards.
Definitely.
So there's a Memory Lapse, there's a Force of Negation. It somehow bothers me that he still does not play the Thoughtseize, and there's a Streaks.
I mean, a lot of this gameplay seems... I'm thoroughly confused
Yeah, me as well.
as to what's going on the right side of the field here. Something to also be aware of, in like this stage of the rounds, you usually are somehow aware of what's going on the like in the tournament. You have with a very refined Dream Halls kill.
Okay.
We see a misstep. Well, it does cost resources, because that means that you have 2 less mana in the turn that you are putting Dream Halls on the battlefield. Means that you have to pay 2 to put the Tiamat on the stack. And it also presumes that if the Tiamat had resolved there, and the Aminatou player had like an oubliette or something, then you are just you don't have a win con in the command zone anymore, and you're just stuck to paying 6 mana to cast dragons.
Yeah. Oof. That. Do you have a list, Midas? I mean, the idea in theory.
So this is like a 2-turn line to a win. Since he can Tainted Pact, he has a Mystic Sanctuary in hand. He can Tainted Pact for the Jace, and then put the Tainted Pact on top and finish the combo pile. Oh, he's okay. No, that's not how he's gonna play it, I guess. Okay.
Well, you mean he's going to flicker the Spellseeker finds a DT, the DT finds the Jace, then he has another flicker for Tainted Pack. In the very same turn, he's going to.
That is true. He can do that too.
So now there's a Thoughtseize, which is getting misstepped. And there's a second attempt on casting Tiamat.
We see
Okay.
a mana leak. And we see a concession. Okay.
So there's a fetch.
Let's see if we see turn 1 hand disruption again. We have a mulligan to 6. It's always problematic for a combo deck.
That's right. And it looks like could be a cantrip as well.
Yeah, we see a cantrip.
Yeah, it's a preordain.
Bottom is always a bad sign. But maybe he found what he was looking for.
I just got the message from the tournament organizer that they had to set a limit because they have to close the place at a given time. They have to finish the tournament at, I would expect 22 or 10 p.m.
Yep. So there's a Thassa's Omen, I think that's what it's called, and a Force of Will in the hand of the Aminatou player, which is already pretty good.
Thassa's Omen? Like the blue Omen that draws a card on ATB and...
I think it's called Omen of the Sea. Not
Omen of the Sea, exactly, yeah. So there's an Arcane Signet and a Plains, I guess?
It's got Thassa on it.
And a Verdant Catacombs. What's the decision here? A 3-drop? It's a Vindicate targeting the Underground Sea. That's not too bad.
There's a target for a Force of Will? Or maybe not.
There's a Omen of the Sea. I mean, you have a Ponder. A Ponderish ability. Now he can still...
I mean, a Preordain.
A Preordain, yeah, not a Ponder, correct. And he lets that resolve. Interesting. Saving the Force of Will for a later turn.
Yep.
Which is probably not bad. And there might be a Triome. Catria, for example.
If his assumption is that the Tiamat player has the, which you don't have to assume, but it's playing it very safe to assume that he has the card in hand. Then the combo card in hand, then you have to. He's untapping with 5 mana. If he plays it, and then and then cast Tiamat, you have to have an answer to it. So thinking ahead, letting the Vindicate resolve might be the right thing to do.
Yeah, sure.
Especially since the Tiamat, if that's not the case, the Tiamat deck isn't really putting any pressure on board. So not forcing it is probably the better thing to do.
Oh, is that that's like the land that returns an enchantment, right?
At the top of the library, yep.
Ah, yeah, okay, makes sense with the dream holes.
Yep.
How's it called? Hall of Heliod's Generosity.
Exactly. Esper Charm. I'm guessing he's targeting himself to draw 2.
Oh, I haven't seen that card for a while.
Yep.
That's interesting. There is another land.
So hitting land drops, that's good.
And there is the dream halls. The question is?
We see no hand disruption. That's not a dream holes, that's a future sight.
That's a future sight, correct. Never mind. So, the opponent probably has a CMC2 counterspell open. Well, Cyan, not everyone likes to do that. Is he searching for a pitch here? He is. So he's going down to 17. Forcing the future side. Okay. So the coast might be clear here.
It might
for either Tiamat or Dream Halls. Let's see. There's a balance. Ay. That's rough.
Yep.
That's
Definitely
rough. I mean, the plan could have been to put back the Heliots on top.
Is the Aminatou player discarding any cards? Nope. Oh, he's
I don't
discarded
think
2, so
so.
no, he has discarded 2.
He did?
So.
Okay.
But then again, the creature removal that don't really do anything.
Yeah, correct.
Against
and
Tiamat.
there is the next land drop. So he's slowly getting back to 5 mana. And it looks like Aminatou resolves. No abrupt decay this time.
Yep. So, I mean, the balance has been good, but there's still just the possibility of Dream Halls being cast here next turn. Maybe an Enlightened Tutor end of turn to find it, or he casts Future Sight. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we said. Future Sight back on top. And there are still 3 blue Zeus's on board, even 4 with their Arcane Signet. Did you play the hall as well?
I cut it because of how tight the mana is, but
okay.
It's playing a different game plan, right? This game plan.
Yeah, sure. There is an idyllic tutor on top.
Yep.
So that might find the dream halls.
Exactly.
Dream hall.
No, it's called Dream Halls.
Halls? Okay. And I think the Aminatou player has yet again another tapped land that has might have a relevant.
Yep, that has a
front
creature
side.
on the other side.
Yes, I don't know. Is it? No, it's probably not the Glasspool mimic. I think that looks different. And we have the retribution again. Oh, and it, of course, it produces 2 tokens at once. That might be a problem.
I mean...
Ooh. There's a demonic tutor on top. That can be nice. Depending on what the Tiamat player. Let's see what's the toolbox, or how the toolbox is looking like. I think
The tapped or the untapped blue land in play currently is a Umara Wizard.
okay. Whatever that is. Oh yeah. Well, maybe that's a win condition, or can be a win condition.
Yep, this is the finals. So we could see a Dream Halls resolving here. If he just chocks himself with the Temple. That does risk being on a 2-turn clock from the Angels. Then no, never mind. He can just he is on a two-turn clock either way. So yeah, so he just casts Dream Halls here. If the Aminatou player has an answer, then this should be GG. He might not scoop, but it's probably pretty close.
And I mean, it counts for both players, so now the Aminatou player can just pitch blue spells in order to counter spells.
Yep. Oh, but also has to be considered that the Aminatou player has blockers.
Yeah, right. So we have a Tiamat cast here.
Then again, if we have a Tiamat on board, and we have, ooh, what's this?
That's an older one. So there's a Dromoka.
Different pile.
Yeah, that's a different pile. That's right. But that's what Midas said, right?
Well, I guess this goes.
Let me see if I find the list just to check what's going on here.
Hello?
Yeah?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Your microphone was a bit weird for a short
cut out.
time.
Yeah, no, it was just okay. So the Jund dragon there, I think is called Darigas.
Yeah. Is it the one that produces a cat token? No.
Nope, it's not called Darigas.
Uh, so there is a Blood Chief's Thirst killing
one of the
one
tokens.
token.
And once Dromoka's resolved, there's no blocking anymore, and so he blocks 7 of. So even if the if so even if it was just one angel dying to the Victus trigger, then he still has lethal because he
Lethal
only blocks 7 power of the
of
11 of the
Cartus or Tiamat.
yeah
Yeah,
of the
correct.
29 damage coming through.
Correct. It's like
Interesting. So this deck plays barely any mana acceleration. It just has several ways to find dream holes and hopes to stay alive until uh, turn 5.
well, that's reasonable. I mean,
Yep.
I've tried to do the same thing with Ivzika with the prismatic bridge, right?
Hmm.
And it worked out quite well.
But you are playing with Izika. You don't need any tutors. You don't need. I mean, this deck is playing
Yeah,
Profane,
right.
Grim, Brain Spoil, Idyllic. So I, I am a bit skeptical, but I guess he's made it to the finals. So
There's definitely something behind it.
yep.
The first game looked a bit weird. There's a profane tutor, by the way.
Hmm.
That's cool. Definitely a good one here. According to the game plan, there is a Teferi. Huh. Yeah, why not? So the question is, he's ticking up to 5. Okay, sure. There's no point in giving an extra draw to Aminatou, but I think we both agree on the ferry being quite problematic
Absolutely.
in order to interact with the board. And there's a 4 mana Jace. Ooh, that's scary.
This might be just a turbo combo pile from Aminatou that's faster than.
Yeah, correct.
But then again, if the profane tutor resolves, um, you have a uh, yeah. If the profane tutor resolves, you if you think if you don't have a straight line to victory, you can just search for something to kill the Jace, which he definitely has in his deck.
I just have to check, is he playing any fast mana? I don't think
Nope, he's
so.
not. Nope, there's no way to accelerate in this deck. The only mana acceleration is Arcane Signet.
Yeah, correct. I really like the Moonblast Cleric. I just like the card. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's okay. I think it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's okay. What are you gonna do?
I still think, unless the Aminatou player is not getting rid of Teferi and he has any interaction spell for the Jace, that the Tiamat player is in a pretty good spot. And I mean,
Yep,
he has a demonic tutor in hand,
yep,
so he definitely is in a pretty good spot.
yep.
He can even tick up
Also to
Teferi.
consider, yeah, is it that you can tick up to Feria, just pass the turn and see see what happens. He can have a sorcery speed answer to the. Mm, he could have found like a Blood Chief's Thirst,
Yeah.
A prismatic ending.
There is a
What is it more?
Duris. What do we see? A Glacial Fortress, Drown in the Lock, Force of Will, a Plains, a
It's an
Flooded
intuition.
Strand. It's an intuition, right?
So
And there's
looks. So this is definitely a difficult
I don't. Yeah, I would have not.
thing to. I would have taken the intuition.
Me as well, because that's the only useful card here.
Yeah. If you keep upticking to fairy, you're so safe.
Do you think
Because
he searched the Vindicate with the Profane Tutor?
I think that's reasonable to suspect.
Yeah, I mean,
Um, yeah, the Tiamat player could have played that quite a lot differently.
well, Midas, as we always say, that's the 10th round those guys are playing, and as we all know, Magic is an exhausting game, or can be exhausting, depending on the.
Yeah, it also, the draw step, Joyous would have also mitigated the potential of the Aminatou player drawing a Planeswalker removal spell, which turns this game quite a bit.
Yep, completely. Yeah. So I'm
So
curious on what's going on now. Certainly, compared to the second round, to the semifinal. Yeah, maybe maybe the Tiamat player is also a bit nervous.
he is on a straight trajectory uh, to win a 115 man event, which is pretty good. There might just be some misplays
Right.
that kind of
And
end up
there
happening.
is a Tainted Pact now.
Yeah,
And
so
that could have been prevented. So he needs to find.
this Tainted Pact,
It's not really good.
it 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 it's either a Tainted Pact or an intuition, right? So the Duress wouldn't have done that much. Oh, but the intuition is in hand anyway, so yeah, this is Teferi off the. Wait, no, it's not. Or has he used Aminatou already?
I think so. Maybe.
Okay,
Not
okay,
sure.
yeah.
So now we get to see if there is another blue mana, and we saw the Force of Negation, and he discarded the Force of Will. So
We didn't see a Force of Negation. There's a drown in the lock in hand. Or
no, no, he
how did you see a
exiled the
Force
Force
of...
of Negation with the Tainted Pact.
That's
That's what
what you
we
mean.
saw.
Okay, okay, yeah.
And the Force of Will
We have
got
a blue
discarded.
source.
That's a second blue source. I guess that's a Zagov Triome on board.
Yep. So
So here we can ask the question again: if he was searching for the dream holes.
he has a win on board. Um, the drown in the lock can prevent some damage, but not all of it. But not enough, I don't think. No. Yep. So if he has the dream holes here,
I think the
but I
first
don't
card
think
is
he
the dream
does.
holes. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean he's just thinking about he should instead look at the opponent's graveyard or exile zone and realize that he does not have anything to interact, and he decides to go for it, I guess.
he could have a daze, right? I don't know if he
I don't think that the Aminatou player is featuring days. Yes, he could, but
yeah. So a lot has gone right for the Tiamat player here, and we see a combo deck doing what a combo deck does here. Actually, he can counter the Tiamat. With the drown in the lock.
That's right. If.
That's right.
But he can.
He likely has a black or a blue card. To.
Yeah, the question was if he could have casted the DT prior to that.
I don't know if he needs to have another black card to discard to the DT, and then what does he get?
Yeah, correct.
It's
not. So. Yeah, no, it's all right. It's not gonna happen.
So, Aminatou really needs to find something here.
I mean, he still has a DT in hand, right?
Who?
Aminatou, you said. Sorry, the Tiamat player has a DT. Yeah.
Tiamat just has to draw spells.
Or lands would be okay as well.
Well, he has to pitch a card and then pay for the commander text of the.
Yeah, and if he
Tiamat.
has 6 mana, he can do that twice, and thereby just dodge 2 counter spells. So he pays 2 mana for the first and 4 tax for the second cast, or the third actually. Yep. So that wouldn't be too bad, I guess. And now there could be a demonic tutor, and it is a demonic tutor. And he has 2 cards in hand, 2 cards remaining, and he is probably, he lets the DT resolve. So what is he going to get?
I honestly don't know.
I mean, he could go for a discard spell.
It absolutely depends on the rest of his hand, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I would assume he is searching for a discard spell.
So yeah, likely Thoughtseize.
Yeah, right. How many cards does the Aminatou player has in hand? 4, 3?
I think it's quite a few.
Yeah, it could be. There's a Thoughtseize, as expected. Underground Sea. 4 land?
Okay, so as long as he has another spell.
Yeah, that's GG it seems.
Yep.
He shows him 4 lands. So that's a 2-1 for Tiamat. Congratulations. Yep. Great. Awesome. Tiamat wins, yes?
Tiamat does win.